I love our fluffy tablecloth.
So yes, we got this for the sick one in Little Women. You know, where they carried her
Amy?
down. Whatever.
I don't know which one.
Beth.
Beth is sick.
Yeah,
Okay.
This was her rap.
Spoiler alert, Beth dies.
Not my version. We did Little Women Lite.
Little Women Junior. Little Women,
Yes.
the Disney version. Nobody dies. It just ends right before that. And everybody lived happily ever after. Believe us. And don't read the book. Hello, I'm Adam.
And I'm Tina.
And we're Brewing Theatre. Hey, we got to actually clink our mugs this episode.
In the same room.
That's our favorite thing. You know, my son Quinn cannot stand that sound.
Let's do it again then.
Okay, this is for you, Quinn. 2, 3. Yes. Okay. I don't know. He's like, y'all. It sounds like you're breaking the mug, Dad.
We probably are.
You're so mid. That's so cringe, Dad.
Oh my gosh.
And everything's down here
I
now.
think Quinn's the only one listening.
He's so 15. Hi. Anyway, should we talk about some
Actually,
theater?
I did get a critique. They were like, y'all talking too fast. So
You just literally gave me that critique. You listened to it and you said, you talk too fast.
like I said,
So who else gave you a critique?
I'm not at
about
liberty
the
to say.
Oh, the truth comes out. Layla said, I speak too fast? What, Layla, you were too intimidated to tell me that yourself?
No, it's me. It's all me.
It's
all me.
All right, I will speak at a pace at which Meemaw can keep up.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You know what would be fun
Never
to talk
doing this again.
You know what would be really fun to talk about?
Sports?
No, that's brewing sports. We're brewing, we're brewing theater. Unless we're doing bear country, and then we can brew up some sports. But we're never doing that again. Speaking of never doing things again.
We might. Y'all might.
Well, if we did, we'd have to do hold auditions.
That is correct.
Yeah, so we haven't had an episode where we talked about how the audition process works here at Theater Tuscaloosa, or just like our personal opinion on auditions. Wouldn't that be fun? Why don't we do that today?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Because I'm already getting questions about Anastasia, and to be honest with you, there are things that I can't quite answer about casting because I'm still in the throes of trying to figure out the show itself. So,
except that we do know you want everyone to twirl a baton.
That is correct, apparently.
Yes. And since this is your last show as executive producer, I think that's a fair request.
So how we do things at Theater Tuscaloosa, and we'll address a couple of things, but we usually don't require a monologue. Depends on the director, but for the most part, we usually just ask people to come in, have a song prepared, which is 16 bars or 16 measures of a song, but be prepared to sing the whole thing if we're doing a musical.
Yes, that's one of those industry jargons. We'll say 16 bars, and we just assume that everybody knows that means 16 measures of music. And you don't just pick any 16 bars.
No, a lot of people don't realize that you don't just start at the beginning. And sometimes a lead into a song will have 4 bars of intro.
Right. So
you don't want that.
No.
You want to pick a piece of, the music that shows off your best range and also kind of completes a thought.
Right.
So,
and some people make the mistake where they want something that's going to end on a big high note, but they'll start it in that very gravelly place where you can kind of barely hit those notes. That's not a good place for you.
No.
If you have to have that, that's not the right song for you.
Right.
Every note that comes out of your mouth needs to sound really good in an audition.
Yeah, just pick a song that's good, that you sound good and has a nice range.
Yes.
Don't pick a song that only has 3 notes.
No, you also,
Yeah. Which happens a lot. So what we usually require
is my fault. I was given those beans. You persuaded me to trade away my cow for beans, and without those beans, there'd been no stock to get up to the giant in the first place. Wait a minute.
That's 3 notes.
Exactly. That's the problem.
So thank you for that example.
You're welcome. And did you notice how fast it was?
I'm never doing another one of these again. Anyway, so 16 measures. And sometimes we ask you to sing the whole song. In fact, I do that quite often.
Yeah, that happened to me during the producers.
So I like to hear the whole song if I don't know you very well. If I know you pretty well, I only need 16 bars, and sometimes I only need that, but I'll listen to it. So we then also do cold readings from the script. So we'll have sides, which are just, pieces of a script that have scenes with 2 or 3 or 4 people in it, and we'll let you look at it, and then we bring you in and read you with different people. So it's usually we sing first. This is for musical, but we sing first. Then we do readings, or sometimes we do dance, depending on how much dance there is in a show.
Right.
And then we do readings.
Well, before we get to the readings, why don't we talk about what should you expect if you come into a musical audition in terms of dance?
Do your research for the show and know what the show's about and know how much dance is in the show. And if you are auditioning for Anything Goes, you probably need to tap. So
that's a good idea.
It's also going to our website and looking and seeing what is required. Right. We try to put that on there.
If we're looking for people who tap, our audition notice will probably say that.
Right. Now, something that we may not have put out yet, but we will soon, is that there is ballet in Anastasia. So we are looking for some legitimate ballet-trained dancers.
2 or 3, though.
Yeah.
We shouldn't let that intimidate everybody who thinks maybe I'll be in the chorus. There's a specific scene that takes place at the ballet. And so we're going to need some for real ballet dancers, but not everybody in the chorus. Everybody in the chorus is going to need to be able to move well. Right.
There's about 4 female roles and 2 male roles that need, maybe 4, that need some legitimate ballet training. But those can just be ballet dancers.
Right.
And can double as other things in the course. But
sure. They don't need to be the best singers necessarily. They need to carry a tune.
Right.
But they won't have solos and things like that. But they'll be in the chorus.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a good ballerina, you may not be able to sing at all. So
that's true.
It just depends. But so what to expect? You gotta look and see what show we're doing first of all. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many times I've had people show up and go, "Now what is this?"
Yeah. Well, a pro tip on that is that at the very beginning of a season, we create in the ticket office a perusal binder. And we put a copy of every script in that binder. And it is available every day that we're open, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Fridays, 9 a.m. to noon, for anybody to just come by. They kind of check out the binder, and you can read the entire script sitting in our lobby, or you can go sit in the rehearsal hall or maybe the recital hall. And you can't take it with you.
Right.
Even if that's the play we're doing, you can't take it with you for, because it's for rights purposes and so forth. But you can look at it and you can go, oh, wow, I could see myself in these 3 roles potentially, so that when you fill out your audition form, you know who to ask the director to think of you as. And those people who are proactive about listing specific roles can sometimes put a light bulb up in a director's head that they maybe never would have thought about that before. And I have a great anecdote about that. When I was doing My Son Pinocchio Jr. with Tuscaloosa Children's Theater, little Autumn Fuller, who was a teenager at the time, of course now she's all grown up working over at the Arts Council, but she came in and she put down the ringmaster, who's that person kind of in the place where the donkeys go, and I think traditionally that role was always written as a male role, but she put that down that she wanted to be considered for that, and by gum, I gave her that role because she came in and she nailed that audition, and when we had her back for callbacks, she was just fantastic in it. And I, as a director, had just not even thought this could be played by a female performer. And so if you've done your research and you could really knock something out of the park, you're in a much stronger position when you come into that audition having put that on your form.
Right. We now have a form online, so everything is done online. And
through theaterforms.com.
You need to sign up for auditions beforehand.
You
need
to know for a specific day.
You need to know the show we're doing. You need to have some sense of the show. You need to know what part you're right for. But I always encourage people, if you're really trying to learn theater, to not box yourself in and say, I will only play Anastasia or nothing else.
Right.
Because, it takes a while sometimes to sort of figure out who's what. And so if I don't know you, now you may blow me out of the water and I cast you as Anastasia. But if, I'm looking at everybody and trying to cast a show, across the board in the right way. And so what if I see you as the dancing role? I mean,
Right.
what if there's something else? So it depends on how, if all you want to do is Anastasia and nothing else, then put that. But I would encourage people to be open-minded
Right.
when they list the roles that they're interested in.
Yeah, always check that box. It's like, will you consider other roles? Yes. If you really want to be in that show, then you check
Right.
yes, because otherwise there's a good chance you'll end up in the no pile, and then you've told us you don't want to be in
Right.
it at all, and we're not going to call you up and say, oh, please,
Right.
please, will you be in our show? If you've told us you only want that one role, we're going to assume you meant that.
I really want people in Anastasia that want to be in Anastasia. So I'm really looking forward to the people that are coming out to audition. So know the show, listen to it. If there's things on YouTube that you can get a glimpse of so that you're coming in not just completely cold, come read the script, fill out your audition form. Some questions that are going to be on there is your experience. So we need to know if you have a resume. You can look
Right.
up, actor resume.
Right.
But basically, we want to know what shows you've done, where you've done them, and what role you've played. And then any kind of experience that you have, if you have legitimate training in dance or music. But that doesn't keep me from
Or
casting
theater.
somebody.
We like to know if you've had
Yeah.
acting classes and things
Right,
like that.
right. But so we ask those things on the audition form, and then when you come in, have an attitude that I am here to yes and. That,
Yeah.
our attitude is yes and.
Yes,
around
and
here.
all the time.
And so come in with a positive attitude. Come in ready to work. Come in and have your 16 bars and ready to sing the whole thing. You might even have a second song prepared that's very different from the one you prepared. Some people are like, all right, I'm already out. I don't have time to prepare all that. Well, that's why we're talking about it now, because the auditions aren't until May. And so
Right.
spend a little time getting prepared so that you have the best chance possible to be cast. Once we're in the room, you sing. Usually we take 5-10 in at a time. Then you go out and you may learn the dance stuff or the movement. For Anastasia, it's mostly going to be movement, unless you're auditioning for a particularly trained
Right. One of those ballet roles.
yeah, roles. And then we'll do where you read the sides, where we give you the script and you get a chance to look at those sides that we've pulled.
Sure.
Sides are small scenes.
Yeah, they're just clippings from the script. We're
Right.
literally going to make copies of pages. We'll X out the stuff we don't want to hear.
Right.
And, usually it'll say at the top which roles each side
Right.
is for. And the director usually has said, okay, I want to see this person for this role, this role, this
Right.
role. And the stage manager goes, oh, well, then we pull this, this, and this. And
Right.
we say, hey, go read that.
But if you really are seeing yourself in something that is non-traditional, which I am big time about that, I oftentimes will cast a male in a female role or
Yeah.
a female in a male
We
role
love
or whatever.
non-traditional casting and
if
also
it's
color-conscious casting.
If it's okay with the writers.
Well, that's true.
There's some things it's like you have to cast this or this. But anyway, I
Right.
try to stay very open-minded, particularly when it comes to race. I really try to cast the right person for the role.
Right.
So
and when it comes to age, it's like, what can you read as?
That's right.
From the stage. We're primarily not going to be back in the Bean Brown Theater, so you're talking
Right.
about a proscenium stage, so you're a little bit removed from the audience. So could you pull off 18? Could you pull off 50? What can
Right.
you pull off? Maybe even with a little makeup.
Right.
So don't feel constrained to, I can only play within, 5 years of my actual age.
Right.
Some people just look very young, or some people are just naturally play older.
Right.
And so having that awareness about yourself is important too.
I used to tease Ray Taylor because Ray Taylor was in his 50s and was still playing teenagers. So, some you don't always look your age, but know your type, I guess. And if you don't, we'll help you with that.
Yes.
But you don't have to have any experience. To be honest with you, you can come in green.
Yeah.
We will walk you through things. But what I want you to have is the attitude of yes. And I'm going to have a great time. I am nervous, but I'm not going to let the nerves keep me from giving my best audition. And that's one of the things that I think you need to know is that everybody on the other side of the table is wanting you to do well.
We're cheering you on. We want you
are
to do
your
your very
cheerleaders.
best. And one thing I've heard you say in the past that I think is excellent advice is that for that moment, this is your chance to own whatever role it is you're going for.
This is your
And
chance to
so
play it.
just be your very best self at that moment. Imagine that you have already landed the role and just exude that confidence, because that is attractive and
Right.
it's exciting, and it demonstrates to us that you could hold the mantle and responsibility of a big role.
Don't try to figure out the casting yourself.
No.
You be you. You come in, do your best work. Work when you are reading with other partners. Try to help them be the best actor they can be. And then just be pleasant and give us everything you've got, and know that if you don't get cast, sometimes it has very little to do with your talent and a lot to do with maybe your age or your availability. Because I can tell you the number one thing I look at is
conflicts.
Are you going to be here for the majority of the rehearsals? And if you have conflicts the week before we open, you're probably not going to get cast in the show. So that's a really important thing. Make sure you have those on that form. That
being
audition
part of
form.
that show is a priority to you. Make sure you have cleared your schedule.
Right.
Because you're going to audition, probably 2 months before the show ever comes on. You don't get cast. Well, you can fill that schedule right on up.
Right.
But it's much harder to clear the schedule once you've already planned things, especially travel and things like that. So make the show a priority.
There are some people I know that they have a conference. I know they do. I'm
For
used
work
to
or
it.
something like that.
And their conference is in June, and I know that, and I can almost always work around it if I know ahead of time. But
June is one thing for a July performance,
Right.
but if once you cross that July 4th mark,
That's right.
we really can't have any conflicts at that stage.
That's right. So anyway, it's just about knowing what you're auditioning for, being prepared, be as prepared as possible, and read the fine print of what we're looking for. Know the roles that we're looking for and what we're looking for in that role, and then sort of see how other people have done it.
Yes.
And we may or may not go that direction or not, but it's good to just know the show. So for Anastasia, there is a Disney movie out. Actually, it wasn't originally Disney, was
Disney
it?
ended up gobbling it up, but it was originally Touchstone or something like that.
But that animated movie is very different than the musical, but it still doesn't hurt to watch that.
Well, most of the music is
Yes.
in the musical
Yes.
in one form or another.
Right.
So it gives you that ear for the music, and there's some YouTube videos of prior productions
Right.
that you can also check out
So
to give you a sense of it.
So I'm trying to figure out what am I looking for? What are the age ranges, and can I push that a little bit and that sort of thing. So and you're also looking at playing real characters, but not really. I mean, these are based on real characters, but this is folklore.
Imaginative versions of
Right.
that are based on real people.
Right.
Yeah. So you don't have to necessarily portray that real
And you don't
person.
have to look like Anastasia.
No.
I'm not looking for that.
Well, Jeanette can work some pretty good
Right.
wonders. I mean,
It's
if your
amazing
hair's
what a-
not right or
what a wig and makeup will do.
right. That's right.
So anyway, just come in with your best self. Be confident. Don't talk yourself out of auditioning because you're not prepared. Just come on and be a part of it. And you never know.
Well, it's like the lottery. You're never going to win if you don't enter. So none of us here in Alabama are ever going to win because we don't have a lottery.
And one of the things that I pride myself in is, as a director, getting the best out of people in auditions. I have little tricks. When I see somebody super nervous, I have little tricks to help them. So don't shut yourself out because you're scared or you're nervous or you don't think you're right. And I mean, actors are notorious for talking themselves right out of a role. And I just hope you'll come out.
Well, and I think a good attitude is I'm going to audition for the show. And don't even think beyond that. Don't think I'm going to be in the show or I'm not going to be in the show. Just think I'm going to go audition. I'm going to do the best audition I can. Another piece of advice that I think you've given in the past that is 100% true that I think every director out there would subscribe to is your audition starts the moment you walk through this door. And to a certain degree, it starts the moment you fill out your audition form because you need to do that well and you need to upload a good picture of yourself. But as soon as you walk through that door, we're conscious of how are you interacting with the stage manager? How are you interacting with the folks helping move you from one room to the next? How are you interacting with your stage partners, your scene partners if you're doing a cold reading? How do you interact with the accompanist if an accompanist is provided? So we're trying to decide, do we want to spend the next 6 to 8 weeks of our lives in rehearsal with you 6 days a week? So
it's just like a job interview. If you're pleasant, we're more apt to look at you than if you're the person that is causing a ruckus. So don't cause a ruckus.
Yeah, be pleasant.
Be nice.
We like nice people.
Yes, and come out and audition. Even if you're scared. If you need to call me and let me talk you off the ledge, try not to let too many people do that. But, as soon as I've said that now, 72 people will call me. But no, call me and say, hey, will you work with me on some stuff? And as soon as we get sides available in a couple of weeks, just let me know. We want you to do your homework, but if you ever just need a little helping hand, just just give us a shout.
And this cast will easily be 30 people, don't you think?
Yes.
So there's the odds in a big musical being cast go up right away just because there's so many more roles available.
Yeah, there's not a lot of kids in this show. There's the one small Anastasia role, which she's supposed to be about 5 or 6.
Yeah. The little brother, she could maybe see the little brother.
5. But I probably will put a few younger people in there.
Good to know.
Just,
not 70.
No.
Maybe 5.
Right.
Maybe.
But I would like to have some age range in there. So
yeah.
So anyway, that's what it's going to be like to audition for Anastasia. So we hope you'll start.
You know what we didn't really talk about is the dance portion. Usually what happens, and you're, by the way, welcome to bring more than one set of clothes and more than one set of shoes. If you would rather wear more of a dance style shoes and some sweats or something for this portion, you're welcome to do that. You usually come in and the choreographer has created a short piece of choreography, usually a minute or 2 in length, not long at all. And they will take time to teach in batches, in groups of people, teach that choreography. And so you'll rehearse it several times before you're ever judged. And this choreographer will then go sit down and actually watch y'all do it. So don't think, too, you have to come in knowing the choreography or anything like that.
If you're not a dancer, which I'm not, but I have danced in a lot of shows, you just do the best you can, learn it the best you can, and the main thing is dance from here up.
Sell it, baby.
So, and this one's not, like I said, a heavy-duty dance show, but there are a few dance numbers in it. We'll put the people that dance well in those, and the others can, as Cornelius would say, we'll give you something to hold.
Yes.
So I want to have a good time with this show. I'm excited about it. I want people to start preparing for auditions. And so the first thing they need to do is find out what this show's about, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So
absolutely.
We hope you'll come out and audition for not only Anastasia, but all the things that are coming up next season.
This is great advice for any audition, really.
And what we want you to know is we want you to be involved. So if we can help you in any way, just let us know.
You put the community in community theater.
You, but the you and
community. Well, I think we've reached the end of this pot of Brewing Theater. So until next time, I'm Adam.
And I'm Tina.
And we're Brewing Theater. Cheers.